Hey, Bless Tribe. I just want to get on really quickly. And I just had a few like little tidbits that God had gave me on yesterday. So just continue to pray for your coach. I'll be continuing to pray for you all. I had the pleasure of taking a covenant course on yesterday with the one and only Latoya Okia and Brother Tyson from the Relate from Camp leadership group, male and female group. It was like a co-ed teaching experience. It was so beautiful. So I just want my leadership crew to know that you guys always over exceed my expectations. The investment was very small for all the wealth of knowledge that we got. I got so much new knowledge. I was just surrounded by so many beautiful kings and queens, and those type of environments really feed me, because right now I'm just in a incubation stage where God say, look, you're like a premature baby coming out of the womb. Okay. And it's nothing wrong with realizing what stage of life you're in. It's really important to be self-aware and know what you need, how much of, self-care, literacy books that you need to be reading, courses that you need to be getting into, how much water you need to be drinking in the summer seasons, and when the warfare is heavy, because it will exhaust you. It will give you that false fatigue where you can't even press play. The enemy's tool and trick is to make sure that he depletes you so much, he causes so much havoc and confusion and hell in your life that you don't even want to press play and do what the kingdom needs you to do, because they know once you open your mouth, once you do what your Father tells you to do, once you continue on your steadfast journey that the Father has for you, that you are going to pull other people out of darkness. Your voice, you being an eagle spirit, you being a leadership spirit, you are going to pull other people out of darkness. And hell does not want more people into the kingdom. Hell does not want kingdom marriages to exist. So just make sure that you are continuing to press play even when hell is just rocking your life like you're inside of a blender. Okay. It doesn't matter. And like I said, I only laugh just to keep myself from crying. But whatever you got to do to keep pressing forward, I want you to do that in this season. God will give me small little bitty instructions. And like I said, once he realized that you are able to press forward with the things that he give you that are so small, it be the smallest things that you are obedient doing, that he uses to elevate you, to take you to the next level. And I'm gonna lock my doors because I'm out here in the parking lot. But one thing that he always tell me, like right now I'm about to go into this assignment, and like I said, all of these assignments that I'm on, when I go here, I already know that my end date is near. I already know there's an expiration date, that there's a lesson that I need to learn here. There's a skill that's in my business, in my purpose, in my character building that he wants me to get from this particular assignment. So whenever you're on these people jobs, just know that God got you on these jobs because you're supposed to be learning. You're supposed to be giving some sort of light inside of that environment. And then once your assignment is over, just know, don't cry about it. Don't try to hang on to it for dear life. Don't put up with garbage that you don't need to put up with. Be out of there. So one thing that God will instruct me, he will say, Jessica, before you leave to get on anybody else's assignment, I need for you to protect the precious cargo. You are God's precious cargo. So basically, you're like $1 million walking around and you don't even know it. If you had $1 million, you wouldn't be leaving it somewhere. You wouldn't be leaving it unlocked. You wouldn't be letting it travel with any and everybody. You wouldn't be giving a piece of it to any and everybody. So God said he needs you to see yourself as precious cargo. You are the prize. You are $1 million walking around. If you could quantify it, you would be $1 million. You just wouldn't leave it anywhere. You just wouldn't give it to anybody. You just wouldn't say, hold this, like you're saying hold a pencil or a cup of water or something. You wouldn't just be so willy-nilly to toss it around in that manner. God say, listen, so make sure that you protect the cargo. Make sure when you're driving up and down these highways, you are praying for the safety of you and your family to get from point A to point B. Make sure that you are not being so hasty, because sometimes I would be in a rush and I would just drive off and not even put my seatbelt on. God say, listen, that's a small thing that I need you to be obedient, because if you get into a car accident, I need for you to be protected, because the enemy is after you, and he's after me and you because you have a high ranking in the spirit. You have a big calling over your life. So make sure that you do small stuff to protect yourself, because you are the precious cargo. Make sure you wear your seatbelt, and I have wrote down a few things on this receipt. So, because I had forgot my journal at the house. So another thing he said, drive the speed limit. Don't be in a hurry to get nowhere. He said, especially to somebody else's job, get up early, be on time. And this morning, like, I think I was trying to put some oil in my hair, and the particular oil that I wanted to use, the bottle was empty, and I was just squeezing it like, please let some more drops come out. And usually I don't even use things to the bottom like that, but God was saying, Jessica, throw that away. It's empty. So don't try to hold on to things that are that you have used it up, whether it be physical things like lotions or perfumes or anything that may be your favorite. You're going to have to learn to let some things go in this season, especially people also. So if people have basically used you up to a prune where they have gotten everything that you had to give, and now you're about to give them your anointing, you're about to give them your life's mission, you're about to forfeit your life mission trying to impress these people, you're going to have to let them go. If they're draining you from stepping into your purpose, if they're prohibiting you from doing what you need to do, you're gonna have to let them go. If they're breaking your heart, crushing your heart, you gotta let them go. If they're two-faced, backstabbing, you can't trust them, their own offense. Sometimes they talk to you when they're around certain crowds. Sometimes they don't talk to you when they're in certain crowds. They say demeaning things even though they say they're joking. You're going to have to separate yourself from these people, because the enemy is already hot on your trail. You can't invite the enemy in and know they're the enemy and continue to keep them in your circle, in your bed, in your space, in your home, in your friendship circle. You're going to have to separate. Remember, I told you guys about that division. You're going to have to let God divide you from people that no longer serve you in this season. And lastly, I remember taking this literacy course, and it was a random course that happened in between. I had to take like some electives, but this particular elective, in order to be a teacher, you had to take a high literacy course in order to teach little kids. So my first degree is in early childhood development, child relations program. And you had to take this literacy course, and it was like, usually some of the courses numbers start with like 1, 2, 3, but this number was like all the way in the 4s and 5s. And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do good in this course. But anyway, it was basically examining a lot of kids' literacy books. And one of the authors that we came across was like the Cashapp fable stories. It's like the little kid nursery rhymes and stuff like that. And one of the books that we examined was the hare and the tortoise and the hare. And I was always curious to know why I took that course, but God brought my memory back to that course because it was very, very challenging, but very, very interesting to me. And he had allowed me to see a tortoise and a hare in the sky, and I was like, I wonder what that means. And of course, sometimes I try to ignore it because I don't always want to be, saying that I saw something in the clouds, but I mean, it was the reality. So I looked again and I saw it. So God brought back my memory, and he said, remember that story in the Cashapp fable series? And you have to remember, in that story, the hare was the fastest, he was the quickest, he was the wittiest, but the tortoise also ended up winning the race because he remained slow and steady on his pace. He didn't tire himself out, he didn't overwork his gift. He just, kept doing the same thing. And that's what God was saying, with the small, consistent steps that you make in this season, it's going to propel you to win your race. Not a race against your neighbor, not the race against your girlfriends and your family and your coworkers. It's a race against you versus you. Like, it's going to be a race that is designed especially for you. So you don't have to worry about trying to win against other people. You just have to win against yourself. Basically, you're going to have to stay disciplined. You're going to have to remain strong, remain healthy mentally. That's why videos like this is very important to get out, because you have to remain strong mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You're going to have to connect with leadership groups. That's why I'm so grateful that God has put me into leadership groups where it's so many other kings and queens doing the same work of service that I'm doing. We all have the same testimony that hell is hot on our trail, but we are going to continue to get together and just pray for one another, teach one another skills. I'm so much of an educator. When I learn new skills, it's like, oh my God, I can't remember. I can't understand that I did not know this, and I get so intrigued and so inspired by it because it's new knowledge out here. Eric Thomas said all the time, the reason why you're making $30,000, the reason why you're staying in environment that you're staying in. The reason why you're driving what you're driving, working where you're working, is because you're going off the knowledge that you already know. Everything that you know right now has gotten you where you are today. Even in my life, everything, even with the degrees, experience, career experiences, working with the state for 10 years, all of that, even though I have knowledge, it still has gotten me where I am today. And I aspire to do more. So the same thing with you. Get new knowledge. Even reading books, you can read the same book twice. If you say, oh, I don't have access to certain books, YouTube will read the book for you. They have the Fire Stick Kindle that will read the book for you. A library card in my community is free, because we're still kind of, you know, making sure that people have access to stuff because of COVID. A lot of people may have strayed away from coming out into the community. So my community promotes people to come out. You know, they give you things for free, resources. When you get into a book, it allows you to travel. It allows you to expand your mind. My coach inspired us that we got to give our mind new knowledge. So I'm just paying it forward and telling you the same exact thing. You have to give yourself new knowledge. And because when God show you the hare and the tortoise, if you had not taken the advanced literacy course and been obedient in that season, that happened back in 2013 up into 2009. So from a 4-year span, if I had not been obedient and doing the classes that he desired me to take at that time, in that season, here in 2023, I wouldn't have known what he wanted me to do with the hare and a tortoise. I wouldn't have even got the revelation. So you have to make sure that you are monopolizing whatever season you're in. So again, make sure you're throwing out stuff when it's empty. Don't try to hold on to people, things, objects. You got to let it go in this season. He say, drive the speed limit, your precious cargo. You're like $1 million or more walking around. You're not going to just handle that any and every kind of way. Wear your seatbelt. You got to make sure that you are protecting yourself, being safe. And some of this stuff is common sense, but when we get in a rush, we get on our money train in our bag, we start focusing on these things and we forget that we are God's prized possession. We are the precious cargo. We have to protect it by any means. Same thing with your heart. If people is no longer serving you, you got to cut them off. Okay. And also, he's wanting you to reserve yourself in this season so that you won't be like the hare and be the, you won't be like the rabbit pretty much, and you're the fastest, you're the most resilient, you're everything, but then you wear yourself out and then you let the tortoise go past you. So basically he wanted you to slow down in this season. He keeps giving me the same thing, Jessica, slow down. Far as self-preservation for yourself, you have to make sure you are loving on yourself. That's why I'm so heavy on the mental health train, because if you do not protect your mind, once the mind goes, the mind reminds you to blink, the mind tells you to walk, your mind tells you, all the things that you need to do in order to be prosperous. Okay, so remember to protect your mind. Once the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy, especially your mind and your, things that you can see, he gets into people that are closest to you. If you allow those things to get you off square, get you to act out of character, act like things that's not even of you. That's why it's very important to let him divide in this season, because eventually you will begin to turn into what you hang around. And God say that's not even you if it's not uplifting and of good character and excellent spirit in the kingdom. Okay, so that's all I got for you guys today. I know this video is going to be pretty short, but I have to rock and roll. But I wanted to make sure I tap into my Blessed Tribe members this morning, let you guys know I love you. I do still have some availability. It will be limited just because, like I said, I have more to learn in this season. So if you do find some availability to work with your schedule, make sure you go ahead and book that session right away. I will be continuing to get up here each and every day to sow into you guys, to let you guys know that regardless of what's going on in my life, I have agreed to do this assignment. I have agreed to make sure I am consistent to sow into you, to make sure that you are also encouraged and keeping your mind right in this season. And I'm going to continue to get up here and give my prophetic motivational words each and every day that God allows me to. So I just love you. And I hope that you have an amazing day. And continue to like and subscribe to the channel. You guys have been doing a phenomenal job, just blowing my mind. God say this is our prosperous season, so we are going to get everything off the table in this season. Remember, don't tire yourself out. Keep your water. I got my water right here, handy. All right, I love you guys, and I'm going to go ahead and get off. I'll be right back up here tomorrow giving you guys another mental health motivational word. Enjoy this Sabbath day. Just, love yourself. Continue to let God use you, because somebody's watching you. Believe it or not. You are an eagle. Somebody's copying you. Somebody's watching you. Somebody's watching to see, how you wear your hair, how you drove up, how you going to speak to that person that don't owe you nothing, all of that stuff. And when they find out who you are, they're going to be amazed. But it's not your job to go around telling people who you are. Just let them find it out slowly but surely, just like the just like the hare and the tortoise. Okay. All right, I love you guys. Have a fabulous day. All boss and lip gloss.